Ahead here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel. And as you just saw there, I got my friend Eric back here for a Thanksgiving week sit down, talk, interview, chat, whatever you'd like to call it. And we'll do what we do in real time for a few people out here, just like you and just like me. So, Eric, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, David. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Tomorrow here in the United States, we celebrate Thanksgiving. I know you guys in the UK don't do that, right? You guys have some other festival harvest that you do earlier. Is that correct?
That we used to. I think that's when I was a kid. We used to have a harvest Thanksgiving. Yeah, but it was only the farming community, really, as far as I remember. But no, we don't. We have a thing. We don't have Halloween either. We have Guy Fawkes Night when we burn the dummy on the bonfire, and that even that seems to that's gone astray. But
Yeah.
I think it's Christmas. Really, it's Christmas here. It's the kind of the last furlong till Christmas.
Yeah, we started kind of earlier this year with that too. I mean, once the Halloween stuff was over with, everybody got into the Christmas spirit. I think there's something different this year. I think people are a little bit more focused on it, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
So you finished up a tour not too long ago, and that must have been fun, right? You hadn't been out there for a little while, and how did that go? How did things go out there?
Well, it went pretty good. I have a great little team of players and technicians, and just a little gang like a commando team. It's quite light, very efficient, very loyal, and hardworking. And we go anywhere really. I mean, we over the last decade, I suppose we go out twice a year. I go out around Europe in the spring, and then in the fall we come to America, and that's been the pattern for quite a while. So, in the summer I have off to go wherever it seems to be the best place to be, where the sunshine is.
Good for you. Good for you. You kind of recharge a little bit before you have to do it again. Is it getting harder for you to do this as you get older, or is it like riding a bike where you know how to do it instinctively?
I think it's getting harder once when the lockdown happened. It seemed that a lot of things changed. Because we started touring when we could after that, and noticed that all the hotels had been refurbished during that time. It was almost like it was they used that space of time to refurbish all the hotels, and everything was touchscreen. So that you can't switch off the lights at the light. You have to go to the door of the room, and there's sort of mood altering stuff, touchscreen, and it's very, very. It got very difficult to make. I'm old school, and
Yeah, you like that you just hit a light switch, right?
yeah, yeah, a light switch by the bed, or something, or good, I need a couch too because at my age I need to have a nap before the show. I mean, if I get up at about 7 in the morning and we go for a walk, get some air, have lunch, standard kind of stuff. But I need it. I can't sleep on the bed. I have to lay down on the couch. So there always has to be a couch.
Sure.
A decent sized couch that I can curl up on for 2 hours maybe, and then I'm fresh, to play. So it's all that kind of stuff, and we've got it down really. I mean, and we go to places where the people need to hear music and like live music, and so we're coming out there next year. I'll be there in September and
You coming
October.
back to the US in September?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good news. I had a chance to talk with one of your bandmates, Nathan East, a few weeks
Oh yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
What a nice guy he is, huh? I mean, you must just love having him in your band because he's like a ray of sunshine, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's been my friend for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about back in the 80s when you had that band with Phil and Greg and Nathan, and a lot of people think that was like one of your your best eras, like the
That was like
a
to
lot of
me,
energy.
it was like Derek and the Domino. That band was like it was a quartet, and it was all the great players. I mean, Jim Gordon. We had Phil Collins instead of Jim Gordon, and
Hmm.
Nathan instead of Carl Radle, and Greg Fillingham instead of Bobby Whitlock. So it was that was tough. Losing Bobby was tough for
Yeah.
me because he was the baby. With Delaney and Bonnie, he was the kid. And everyone adored him. He was such a sweet guy, and he went so quick that there was not much we could do. But I was sad about that. Was it? I mean, it's been. I always get. I become aware that when things are going, I get signals or some kind of psychic phenomena. I think, oh man, what's something? Someone's in trouble, and
Yeah.
a bit. That you lose your colleagues, and so I'm very careful with my life and very grateful that I'm still around.
Yeah, it's obviously it's hard when you lose people who are either younger than you or the same age that you've worked with for many years. Is there anybody out there that you haven't worked with that you would like to work with, like as a collaboration?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's tons of people. But I mean, I put them on a pedestal, and then the problem with that is that I end up thinking I'm not good enough to go there. That's my, that's my hurdle. Oh no, I like to look up to people, and that can be an obstacle really. I love McGee. I think he's fantastic, and I went to see him play that man, and the volume they play at. I don't know if you've seen him live. He is
N-
ph- he's phenomenal. But man, maybe it was the gig that it was in Brixton in London, and it was like my body was just wow.
Yeah, it was different, huh? I mean, that when you told me about that stuff and I went and listened to it, I mean, it was, I can understand why you of all people would like that because it's not like anything else, right? It's its own thing. When someone
Yeah,
says it's an original, I have to agree with that. It's totally different.
yeah, yeah. He's brilliant. He's brilliant and very melodic too. His stuff is very reminiscent, and you can hear influences in there. That we talked. We got there early, me and my kids, and he was in the dressing room sitting on the floor, and we kind of had this banter, that was quite funny. Uh, and he said, "Oh, he didn't say he was not that talkative, but the whole group was in there, and they were saying." When you coming to America again? And I have to, I kind of was being a little bit cute. And I said, well, I don't think they'll let me in. I'm an anti-Semite, And I mean, what? I said, yeah, and of course I'm joking, but it just seemed to be that anybody that was going to be reluctant to admire what was going on in Israel or in Gaza. You got branded immediately. I mean, that's what happened with Roger, and so I just went headlong into this,
Right.
and this was before the elections too, and they said, "Oh, Donald's going to stop all the wars." I mean,
Yeah.
that was that's just interesting because they're young guys, they're in their 20s, and I thought they kind of they believe in him. I don't know if they still do. Maybe it's changed, but it did seem odd to me that they weren't suspicious.
Yeah. Well, politicians will always disappoint. They always, I mean, and it's a battle of who's probably lying the least, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
what their overall message is. And then when they get in there, like the prices here are still pretty high, and we were told, hey, the prices are going to come down. And for me, that's an issue for me. And people think I'm selfish, but I'd like to be able to go to the grocery store and
Cost of what
not
they used to call the cost of living.
yeah,
It's called the cost of living. I mean, that was a
cost of
pro-
living. That's what how I should have said it. Yeah. But
yeah,
it's a little crazy when people, I mean, it's everybody that does this. Everybody has a, I mean, the guy who just won in New York, he's going to lower costs. Supposedly he's going to make the rents become cheaper and all that, but it's all, there's no money to do that. So a lot of this is promises, and you know how that goes. It's
yeah,
politicians, they say they're going to end a war and maybe they sign a treaty, but we'll see if the war actually stops. And you've got, I don't know, over there it's so sad what happened over there. So I know you were really heavily involved. You had a special guitar. I remember you were out there with, very colorful, and some people had some things to say about that in the media. I didn't do a lot of commentary on that because I know how strongly you feel about those things, and everybody wants to see peace. I want to see peace, and I don't see why that's such a bad thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, when it kicked off, after that uh, notorious date, I immediately put together a little thing, and we made an album called Prayer, I think Prayer of a Child or To Save a Child or something. And all it was is I just play my set. I play a set, but I kind of I lean in a certain sympathetic direction. And one of the things was to paint a strat. In fact, my roadie he just masked it and painted it like the Palestine flag. And I do that, and I would put that on when we were playing on tour in America, and there was no flack at all, and I did a little private gig to raise funds for aid, for Gaza, and I don't read the papers, I don't watch the news on TV. I'm kind of a movie buff, and I watch TCM and I've just recently, I only just woke up to the Yellowstone phenomena,
Okay, yeah, that is a big deal right now. Yeah.
it's unbelievable. And but so I don't really get this, even when when it went down with Robert and everything, but way back over the vaccine, I got all of that secondhand. And I would get texts from some family members overseas or something. Are you all right? Are you okay? I think,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I just do my thing, but I do it very, very kind of quietly. And I get on, and because one of the things that I really thought was important was to make it so that I can direct my message as and protect my journey at the same time. So I don't want to crash in flames, by being too radical. I think the music is the most important part of what I do, and that has to be catered for in a very general way, so that
Right.
it's like it's for everybody. Uh, and I do, I do get affected by some things, but I've kept my distance because I'm back with my family, and it doesn't come up. There's a thing now. I saw this movie called Librarians. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't. No, I'm sorry.
Worth a look because my kids are kind of students. They're going through the college and university route, and that's great. But where they'll end up, I don't know. They're in a kind of transitional period. They're early 20s, and one of them wants to be an archivist, and I think that's really interesting thing. It's kind of off the. It's not the last thing I would have expected, but she gets, and then I kind of synchronistically, I discovered this film called Librarians, the librarians, which is about a movement of people who are going into school libraries and taking books out.
Hmm.
It's a form of educational censorship.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and it's very reminiscent of things that happened back in the 30s in Europe. And I think, what's going on here? Because there's freedom of speech. And it's interesting that one of my kids is going in that direction, but not really specifically talking about being an activist. Justice is she's interested in all kinds of data, like and historical facts and reading, and she loves literature. So I'm kind of proud of that. I'm very proud that she's the fact that she can take her journey seriously this early in her life, which was exactly how I was. I couldn't hang out with people that just wanted to have fun. I was looking for someone who wanted to do something meaningful, and for me it was playing blues music. And so I thought it was shocking to me that that was an unknown quantity. So that became my journey, and it's one I still that's my kind of route, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a form, it's an art form, and real art, is something I think today a lot of people are not taking as seriously. You mentioned people wanting to have a good time, and then there's all this artificial intelligence now that is out here, and that's really scary. Are you worried about that kind of stuff, with the music world?
Not really, no,
I mean,
no.
because people have sent me songs that I thought were legitimate songs, and it turns out that they're, artificial intelligence. I mean, I heard this song sounded like a blues track, sounded kind of like a Bad Company song, and I'm like, hey, this is really good, and people are like, hey, Dave, it's AI, you know that, right? So it, I
Yeah,
didn't know.
that's the thing that undercuts it. It's not dangerous until it pretends not to be artificial.
Right. Well, that's true, but
Saying if they're saying, "Oh, look, this is artificial," and you think, "Okay, well then I don't need to hear it."
yeah,
But if they say, "Oh, this is so and so," then it's a lie. Then
right.
it becomes a lie, and that's the bit that would be worrying if they were saying, "Oh, this is undiscovered James Brown record,"
Yeah,
an unreleased James Brown album. Only it isn't. It's an artificial imitation. What it's not intelligence. To me, it's not intelligent anyway because it's artificial. The word artificial has means an imitation, right? It's all
sure. Fake. Yeah,
replication of. I mean, which isn't, which has no interest for me. I'm not interested in that. I couldn't even be. I mean, didn't Spielberg made a film about this like 30 years ago or something, and I didn't even see. I didn't want to go and see the film because I thought, well, what is interesting about something that's artificial?
yeah.
The fact that you would want to make something artificial anyway. I mean, what's the purpose of that? What is the purpose of
Money,
that?
money. That's I hate to throw I mean the M word, but it's people know they can fool people and probably make money. I think that's the key, and there's an art form to some of
But
it
they're not
that
even trying to fool people, are they? They're claiming it's artificial, so they're not even. I mean, if it says if I am on YouTube and I've seen a couple of things which say, "Isn't this great? It's artificial music." I think, well, no, not particularly. It would be more great if it was like a 5-year-old, like
right,
a prodigy or a savant or something.
sure.
I know a kid called Leonardo, and his brother, funnily enough, is called Fibonacci. And these are young kids, and this kid can play. He's a street musician. He plays Layla and other, stuff. He's a big fan of mine. I got God knows why, but and I think he's
These
about
are
9.
good. 9?
It's outrageous. So that impresses me.
Yeah, well, that impresses me too. But I'm just, there are a lot of people who are gonna be imposters to other things and pretend they're gonna be so and so. And the problem is, Eric, is a lot of people are really gullible and they don't take the time to think about it. And if it says, like you say, if it says artificial on it, then we know it's artificial. But there's a lot of confusion. I mean, it's just like everything else between the politics and everything else. Just one more thing. Technology can be good. I'm sure you were happy when certain music technologies came along to make your life easier or to make the recording process easier. But, somebody with a computer now can tap some buttons and create a song. I think it's kind of scary, but, that's just me.
I wouldn't worry, man. I
You
wouldn't
don't
worry.
think so? All right. Well, I'm not going to worry. Thanks. Because of you, I'm going to say, don't worry. Don't worry. Speaking of, you were talking about hidden songs and tracks. Your record label, I believe, just put out this song called Higher Power,
Yeah.
um, which is really good, by the way. It was a
Thank you.
Jerry Williams song,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's a load of demos that he made, which have kind of mysteriously disappeared. I mean, there's one guy that I know probably has them, and when I signed with Warner Brothers, me and Phil Collins went to Montserrat and made an album, and I sent it to Warner Brothers, and they sent it back and said we can't. We've got not. There's nothing here we can work with. And thought, and we were just having fun. We were doing making music that we like, but they needed something more impressive for the market. They needed a single, or at least a couple of singles for the thing to be marketable. And so I was stumped, and I said to this guy that was the head honcho there, Lenny Waronker. He's a great man, and I said, what do you want? What should I do? And he said, well, we got some tracks by this guy. If you do a couple of those we would probably work, And I thought, well, okay, well, send them to me. And they sent me about 6 songs by Jerry, and Forever Man was one, Running on Faith, and Something's Happening. And I thought, these are fantastic. This guy, and he could sing, man, like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
He could, it
He,
was like Stevie, and he looked like Jack Nicholson with long black hair and mirrored shades. And I thought, this guy is it. So I thought, yeah, hands up, I'm in all the way. I'll do this. We do another album, or we keep some of this one, and do. So we went over, and that's where I met Nathan East, and Greg Fillinganes, and Jeff Beccaro, and and Stephen Lukather, and they were and Michael Amadi, and this was the A-Team. I mean, the A-Team studio band.
absolutely. Yeah, you can't get better than that.
No, and I was scared shitless, and I was sitting in the studio with Lenny, watching, and they would play the tracks, and I sit there and think, what am I going to do? And I got out there and I kind of did my bit, sang a bit, but I got Jerry in too to sing, to give me a guidance on the vocals, and we had a fantastic time. But so I forgot, how did we get onto this? I forgot.
Oh, the Higher Power hidden
Well,
track,
I don't
Journeyman.
remember doing that. And that's this. See, I'm a AA guy. I mean, yeah, I don't mind telling you that I've been doing this thing for a long time, and staying sober, and going to meetings and stuff. And we talk about that in the meetings. The part of that program is that you need to find a power greater than yourself to follow for guidance, or to talk to, or to pray to, or whatever your connection needs to be. And he had written that. That was one of his songs, and I think it was this. We did Journeyman after I got. It was the first album I did sober. And
Right.
I got sober in 1987, and we recorded that stuff in 89. And I don't remember that song.
Wow.
But there I am, I'm singing it, and I think he's singing.
You're definitely singing it.
Yeah, I think it is. And it's not artificial. It's not,
No,
it's a real thing.
no, we don't
And
want to tell everyone that this is, and actually, the song is getting a lot of good reviews, and people are listening to it. And Higher Power. When I saw the title, I know your story, and I said, "Well, wonder if
yeah,
that was recorded because of that reason."
well, no, it didn't make the album. It was an outtake. And I'm surprised because Jerry he liked to, pull the tail of the tiger. I mean, he was rampant, and I guess that was he died too young. I mean,
Yeah,
and the world doesn't know about him, but Lenny, I think, has got all these demos, and they are his version of Forever Man is unbelievable. I mean,
so we learned that you and Phil Collins recorded a whole album together,
yeah,
right? And the record label said no.
Well, you kind of kindly said no,
They
So
kindly said no.
yeah, we need so that we you need to go back in the studio. Kind of.
Wow.
So I said, well, I tell you what, I'll come back in, but you produce it,
Yeah.
and then you're responsible for that end of the business. So you're
Where,
going to
Eric, where are those songs? Can we find those songs?
you have to campaign with Lenny Waronker.
All right. We're
He
good.
needs he needs to dig in his desk and find these demos because they are stupendous.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And then we've got a bunch of demos from the Journeyman period. Anything prior to that, like back to the album behind me here, Behind the Sun? Anything from that era?
That is that's the one they turned down. But
Really?
yeah, Behind the Sun is the one that's got those songs on. Hasn't it got Forever Man is on there?
Oh, Forever Man is, yeah. But
So
I
some of the
wasn't
Jerry's
higher power, I thought was from Journeyman though.
no, but an outtake from Journeyman, I
Okay. All
think.
right. All right. See, I'm getting confused. See, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
me too. I get confused as well. Yeah, but Journeyman's a good album.
Oh yeah. It's a
That
killer
album,
album. Killer. It was one of my favorites in your catalog for sure. And the concerts you did around that tour, just like I was telling you, that band, it's just so much energy, and then the
yeah,
on-stage craziness that
yeah,
those guys brought to it. I was talking to Nathan about that, and he's like, yeah, he's like, that was a dream band. He's like,
yeah,
that was such a good band. He said, I wish we never broke up. That's what he said.
yeah. Well, we had a dinner one night and I said, I'm out. I'm firing myself because I've got to
You're
go
fine.
home. We were on the road for like 5 years non-stop, that band, with everybody. I mean, it was a big band, two
Yeah.
keyboards. I mean, I don't know who was the other guitar. I think it was God. We had several rhythm guitar players. I can't remember everybody now.
It's fine. I'm getting you off the track here. But it was such an amazing band, and that's a lot of people are going to always like everybody kind of has their favorite time period. But you've had a pretty long career, so people are going to remember like the 70s Eric or even the 60s Eric, and for me it was like the 80s Eric. It's kind of when I really got into your music and when I was in the radio business, and I think we played about I want to say we played every track off of Journeyman on the radio, because we're on a rock station, so we could get away with doing anything we wanted to do. And there aren't a lot of albums that you can do that with, and people are still happy. They're not
Yeah,
bored, and that was the production. Everything on that record was just so good.
Ross Teidelman.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of a legend for the whole Warner Brothers
Yeah,
franchise, right?
I think he was a vice president. I mean, that was like Lenny Waronker, Ted Templeton, Russ, and there were lots of they had oh so many artists. It was a great period.
Yeah. And those days, I miss because we used to get all the promos and you could see who produced the records, and
Yeah,
you just knew when you saw those names, all the names that you're mentioning, those were like money in the bank as far as, you know, getting on the radio and sounding good. So anything in the works for 2026 for you as far as I know, I've got this album here, which didn't come out that long ago, the
yeah,
Meanwhile
yeah.
album,
The
but
lockdown. When we did that, at home, really, or on the internet.
yeah,
That was, so while it was going on, and we couldn't go on the road, so we were banned from the road. We couldn't get in the studios because all the studios had been booked by Amazon, and to make movies, but they didn't. But they were just blocked out. So we did everything at home and made that album piecemeal. But and I got kind of used to that. Now I've got a studio in a house in Columbus. We have a house in Columbus, Ohio,
right.
and there's a studio in there. And we started this year putting down some tracks. We put about 6 tracks down. They're all covers, So far, no original material. So we're kind of halfway through an album, which I would predict could come out in the fall next year.
Are you still writing with Robin at all?
No, not at the moment. No, Robin's working on a film.
Okay.
Uh, so I still see him, and I follow the channel. He's there's always something good to read there. He's a good guy, and we're pals. But we haven't. I think he's been writing with another guy now.
Yeah,
With
in fact, I've had him on my show a couple of times. His name is Thomas Atlas, and
yeah,
he's
that's great.
he's a he's a pretty good guitarist.
Hey,
He
he's a great guy.
basically said, "Hey, pass this along to Eric, will you?" Because he's a huge fan of yours.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
He's a good he's a good guy. Robin's a good guy. Thank God. I mean, they're out on the street still here. What we've got here, kind of surreptitiously creeping in, is the digital ID thing.
yeah,
That's. But I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I think what they're going to do probably is just what next time you have to do a software update, they're just going to sneak it in.
oh yeah. Didn't even think
You
of that.
look at your home screen on the phone, and there it'll be. And you think, well, how did that get? And that already happened to me once. I I was I bought a new phone, and I was transferring the info from my old phone, and I saw this was about 3 years ago, man. And this app showed up saying
Yeah.
digital ID.
No. Oh
Oh
no.
yeah,
I'd be throwing the phone out the window.
I just deleted it.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
as far as I know, it's in the phone.
Uh,
So they're
that
going to do it. They're going to do it, and but I don't see how. I don't think they can pull it off. Really, I mean, they're protesting. There's protests now, the big protests.
Yeah, over there is. I know in the UK, you guys, I see people marching in the streets. Over here, everybody's just kind of apathetic. And like I said, with the AI and all the technology that's here, I don't know if people realize it. You got to fight. You got to fight for your rights, and you gotta be. You can't be apathetic. You can't be sitting on the sidelines because, like you said, they'll sneak some. That's really deceitful. That they're gonna sneak it in like that.
Yeah, they will if they haven't already. It's already in there. It's got to be. Um, and you're right. You have to speak out or say something or just not comply. I
Yeah.
mean, I use cash, but not all the time. I mean, if I buy something online, I use PayPal or something, or whatever it is, credit card or something. But I always try to pay cash with cash. I like cash.
Yeah, cash is over here. There's not a lot of. Well, there are certain people that use cash, but most people will use a credit card or a debit card or some kind of card, to buy stuff. And the value, the currency here is so worthless compared to what it used to be. So, we've got a lot of problems in the United States. I don't know if you have the same problems in the UK, but I pray that something changes, that people will rise up and be the government instead of the government just ruling over people like they're serfs.
Yeah.
So plans for 2026, you got some gigs that you're doing in the UK or in Europe.
Yeah. We
Anywhere
started
else?
we started in April, and then I think we're going to Eastern Europe, and places like Paris, I suppose, and then come to America. And I think, and there's a festival. We're going to do a festival that
Okay.
for the Crossroads Treatment Center in Antigua, and that will be around the end of September, 26th, 27th in Austin. And we're trying to we're trying to simplify it because we lose every time we do it. We lose an awful lot of money, and the treatment center is not, it's not getting enough census. We need to get more people in, but maybe it's just a sign of the times that people don't want to be sober, or I like being sober. I like waking up knowing that I remember what I did last night or yesterday, and I mean it's been like that for a while. But I just need we do this thing in September. We're playing Austin and try and reduce the amount of personnel. I mean, I would like to get people who could happy to just to walk on with a
Sure.
band, like
Right.
kind of few house bands, and so we're working on that as a plan to try and save some money for to go to the center,
Right.
which is
You
it's a
want
great
to
place. It's a good place.
yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of addiction, and it may not be alcohol. It could be some other thing that you're addicted to. It could be some other substance. But you know what you do, that kind of work that you do, that's your legacy in addition to the music. But that's probably your most important legacy that you're
Yeah,
giving. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think it is. That's how I see myself. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, and I think that's who I am. And it was interesting when I was in treatment in Hazelden, and when I was leaving, the counselor sort of sat me down and said, you need to perhaps not work for a year, just go to meetings,
Right.
and try to alter your identity so you're not what you do. You don't,
It's
maybe you
good
can let
advice.
that go. If you need to let that go, maybe you have to let that go in order to stay sober. And I thought, okay, so I have a choice. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just put being sober in the first place. And then, and if it goes, the music goes away, so be it. I'll paint or do something or do, and it didn't go away. In fact, music became my place to go when I was young, and I felt in danger or I was confused. I'd always go to music to solve my problem, and it would just take me to a place of peace. It still does, and it's something to do with the way my heart works. It's if I can be entranced by music, and listen to the same thing over and over and over again, and then I go off it and I find something else. But it always works for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of people, music is like therapy. If you're struggling, you're having a bad day, or just in general, for me, I never get bored with things. And like you said, I tend to explore, and I get into different styles of music more so than when I was younger. I kind of stuck to one area, but now someone can send me something that's, electronic or whatever, and I'll give it a chance, before I say, no, I'm not going to like this, because there's so much variety in music. It's just like an infinite number of things that you can do with music. So um, it's just a great outlet. And so I don't want to keep you. I know you've got to go soon. I really appreciate you coming back on and doing a little charity work for my channel this time around.
Yeah, man, come on. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you for a long time.
Yeah, been like a year, but you've been busy, Nathan too. I was trying to get do this with Nathan, and he, every time he's like, "Yeah, I'm in Tokyo," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well, when you get
yeah,
back, let me know."
yeah, yeah. He's all over the place. He's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a great band, and
Yeah.
it'll be great to see you again. So you're not. I remember we talked about this a few years ago. You're not planning on retiring anytime soon, huh? You're just going to keep going, right?
Yeah, I think if I stop playing, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I think it's up to my higher power, really, what I do. But so what we do now, we just make a plan,
Yeah, that's a
and
good way of
I
doing it.
kind of this is next year is already laid out, and we're working on 27. We're already. I'm thinking about what. And so that it's like a commitment, and I like that. It gives me something to look forward to. So I have to practice in order to be able to get on the carousel again and keep. I mean, these guys never stop playing. The players I have in the band, they're always doing something. So no, I'm not going to retire. No, I don't think I could.
All right, good. Well, the media probably they were hoping at some point that you're going to have a dignified retirement. I keep bringing that up because I wrote, or no, I read that article that guy wrote like a few years ago when you were causing a fuss about the lockdowns. They're like, it'd be good if he would just, sort
Disappear.
of have a dignified ending to his career and so forth. I'm like, no, No, we need more, Eric. We don't need less, Eric. We need more. So I'm glad that you're going to keep going with this. And also, we found out that we need to find the Eric Clapton, Phil Collins album that's out there. So Warner Brothers or whoever, we need to get on this.
Yeah, I do, well, you
Lenny.
see, yeah, Lenny, we need the Jerry Williams demos. Come on, man, put them
Yeah.
out.
All right. So maybe 2026 will put enough pressure on them and they'll mysteriously turn up somewhere in a box and then they'll be all over the place. Eric, thank you so much for coming on. You don't have Thanksgiving over there, but obviously I'm wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you, David. God bless. Happy Christmas.